Hello, 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 people. Good morning, good evening, wherever you might be. Welcome back to Life on the Flipside. I have with me my co-host, Stephen Reason. Good morning.
Hello, hello. Good morning to you. How are you, dear?
I'm doing all right. I've had a pretty chill week being off work.
Wow.
And we've had snow, so I haven't had to go out in the snow. So that's always fun.
Hey, no kidding.
How's life over in Vietnam?
Oh, same old, same old. Still working hard every week. You know, we're coming up on the Tet holiday, though, in 2 weeks. So I'll have 10 days or so off. So it'll be nice. Yeah.
What you plan on doing?
Oh, not much. Not much. As you know, my lovely Pearl and I, we have bought an apartment and kind of makes it a little bit tight. So this year we decided we're just going to kind of relax at home, enjoy the time off, and then maybe next year we'll travel a bit.
Nice. Well, we have some people in the chat, so let's say hello. Who have we got? We have Theo Fun Guy, who is the first in the chat. I don't get the appeal to being first, or saying that you're first, but like, you know, to each their own. Hello to Bacon Earth. Limey Play is in the house. Critical Cripple. Hello, Dave. I was on Critical Cripple's Critical Questions the other day. That was fun. We have Irish Demon.
Oh, hello, Irish.
How are you even doing? Like, he puts out so much. I don't know how you do it. Daryl M. Hello. Jessica G. Of course. Yeah, we're screwed. Jessica G. is in the chat.
Yeah, that's right. And Carl Edwards. Oh my God.
Oh, thank you, Jess. The goat is possibly the most well dressed on the show. Absolutely. She likes people in their birthday suits. That's all I'm saying. Who else have we got? We have Carl Edwards. Hi, Carl. And Jinyu. Have I missed anyone?
Actually, I think she's left. She had to go to bed.
Okay. Yes, sleep is awesome. I don't get much sleep, so that's okay.
I don't either.
We also have X Penguin 95. How are you doing?
Well, hello.
I don't understand how Jess is still alive right now. She should be asleep.
Well, what time is it for her? What time is it for you, like Jessica?
5:30, 4:30 in the morning. Maybe she hasn't gone to bed. That's the issue.
I think that's probably what it is.
I want to see. I'm curious now. Need to open both streams. Yes, that would be a good idea. Open both streams so both of us get the watch hours. That'd be cool.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, just so people are aware, I usually leave the stream up for a few hours. Then I will close it off to unlisted, and so people can watch it on Stephen Reason's channel, and then I kind of make it public again before the next episode. And by the way, if you haven't subscribed to Stephen Reason, please do, because next week's show will be on his channel. So if you want to partake.
Yeah. Absolutely. And if you subscribe to my channel and Kila's, you'll be kept informed of all the great stuff that's coming, because I got some good stuff coming very soon.
I can't wait. We will get to the Pain and Progress. We will definitely get to the Pain and Progress. We need to talk about the return of Pain and Progress. And H. Jasper E just popped in. So, hi, Jasper. Or is it H? Explain to me how I'm supposed to say your name, or should I say it just all of it?
Yeah.
Just got back from making coffee. Did I miss anything? Not really. But where's my coffee? Limey, where's my coffee?
Yeah, get that coffee in here.
If you're going to make coffee, you have to make coffee for the entire chat, because we do love 3:30 in the morning for Jessica.
Wow. What are you doing up, Jessica? Go to bed, for God's sakes.
In fairness, at 3:30, I was still kind of on a stream.
Mm-hmm.
I was over on cider import.
We're all guilty of that, you know.
Oh yeah. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Um, the the Rev Del says, "I'll take a tea, please." What kind of tea do you drink, Rev Del? Because I drink black tea. I can't really drink anything else, like green teas or fancy teas. I can't do it. In which case, which brand of tea? And if it's anything other than berries, get the fuck out. I'm joking. Good morning, Math Pig. Yeah, it was a very late parting. What's worse is me and Stephen, although Stephen kept saying, I need to go, I need to go, I need to go. Me and Stephen stayed on the chat for after the stream ended for another like hour.
Oh, jeez.
Just talking, because that's what happens. Yorkshire tea. Okay, Yorkshire tea I can understand. Yorkshire tea is kind of like berries. Not as good as berries, but it's kind of like berries. I don't know if you know the story of Barry's tea in Ireland.
No, I don't.
So back before the Irish Revolution, in the turn of the last century, we had in Dublin particularly, because that's where the majority of troops were stationed, but it wasn't exclusively to Dublin. We had these tea shops where, quite like in England, people would go in and have a cup of tea. It was basically last century's idea of a coffee house. Mm-hmm. And on their doors, remember this is in Dublin and other places in Ireland, particularly Cork, they would have on their doors a sign reading "No dogs, no blacks, no Irish."
Jeez.
So they were no, not even kidding. That was run by a group called Lions, so Lions Tea, and all this talk now Bacon Earth has to go get one. So Cork people decided, you know what, screw this, we're going to make our own tea brand. So they came up with Barry's. So Barry's is the anti-imperialist tea, because you can't really have tea that's anti-imperialist.
True, because they kind of tea comes from the countries ruled by those imperialists.
Yeah. So it became known. There are places in Ireland today that will not stock Lion's tea because of what happened 100 and so years ago.
Well, I can't say as I blame them.
Now, we were talking before the show about, like, you know, because people think we're organized. I'm never organized. Anyone that knows me knows that I'm not organized at all. You know, yes, Bacon Earth, by the way, I know we're public on both channels. That's a good thing. So we were talking before the show about what we wanted the show to be. We do want it fun, because it is a little chit chat. And I came across a thing of pet peeves. Because what's more fun than remembering what pisses us off the majority of the time?
Yeah.
Oh,
see how many pet peeves y'all have that you don't even know you have.
Yes, I am very well organized at everything except YouTube. By the way, just before I go into this, I put on my patrons last week the ability to vote on what the next challenging conspiracy is, and I'm knee deep in research for that. That will be out before I go back to work on Wednesday, so that's going to be on chemtrails. So look out for that.
Right on. I put in my vote.
Whoop whoop.
Absolutely, it's going to be great. Can't wait. Make sure y'all are subscribed and you get over here. You watch that. It's going to be awesome.
Already we have Carl Edwards saying people pronouncing ask as axe.
Oh, Carl, you're right up my alley, man. That just drives me insane.
Limey Play say I have 3 major pet peeves. They're all named Nathan.
Yeah, that's cool.
For some reason, I don't think Nathan is going to be on this list, but let's dive into the list. The first one is one of my biggest pet peeves. And Jessica does this all the time. So does Tony. Asking questions or talking during a movie. What do you think?
That drives me insane. I cannot stand that. If I'm going to go watch a movie, I want to watch the movie. I don't want to listen to your ass, dumbass, chopping off. I hate that. Shut up.
If right, I was saying this. My mom and sister had this thing where they would invite me down to watch something, whether it was a TV show or a movie, particularly movies, and then they would talk through the entire thing. And as soon as you open your mouth, I'm trying to watch this.
Yeah, exactly.
People that put your YOU or you're welcome instead of YOU apostrophe or E, you're welcome. Yeah.
Yep.
Spelling errors are particularly because I did sociology in university, but my second subject was English literature. So yeah. People claiming that hate speech should be tolerated, I think that's more than just a pet peeve.
Yeah, I think that's an outright piss off.
Right, here's the next one. People who don't wash their hands after using the bathroom.
Yeah, that can get annoying, especially in these times.
First question I have, who's asking people, who has to ask, especially an adult, who has to ask them whether or not they've washed their hands? I'm gonna be honest, I don't go around saying, unless it's my niece and nephew, I don't go, have you washed your hands?
I don't generally do that at work, but I do notice that some people go in and come out and a little too quickly to have taken the time to wash their hands.
That's horrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially now. Yes, understandable. Now it's like, yeah, that'd annoy me now more than it would have. But again, I think it's more annoying to see someone saying, "Have you washed your hands?" especially to a grown-up.
Yeah, exactly. And Carl Edwards has got another one that gets me. Asking people, how are you, when it really doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's kind of one of those weird ones, isn't it?
Yeah.
That, like one of the things that we say is, how are you doing? Or how are you? Or for Irish people, what's the crack? But you don't actually mean, how are you doing? It's just a way of saying hello.
Yeah.
That's why we have the word hello and hi.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Jessica, for someone who does it so fucking often, I don't know why you hate it. I hate when people fart in an elevator.
Sorry, Jessica.
I don't understand why you hate it so much. You do it so often. It's okay when you're doing it, I suppose.
I guess. But if I have to, I'm gonna wait until I get to my floor and I'll drop it before I get out of the elevator and leave it behind.
Jessica just said #no butthole.
The next poor sod who gets in the elevator saying, "What the hell? Who died in here?"
Hi, Dark Steve. Good night, Dark Steve, and hello to the Snark. The Snark just dropped in. Oh, jeez. We're not going to get through these, but a guy who brings their own guitar to a party. The whole point, like, this doesn't bother me really. Although, so the example is in one of those more tame parties, no one wishes you'd play some Oasis or Green Day covers. Gosh, I wish someone would break up the monotony of this party by singing Wonderwall right now. I mean, I've been that person. I've been that person where I would bring my guitar to a party because, at the end of it, there's going to be someone that wants to keep the party going and just have a few sing songs. And when you're drunk, you'd put the crows out of business perfectly fine. It's people who can't play an instrument but do it anyway.
That's annoying. if you can't play an instrument or if you can't sing, then please don't do it. At
The
least
other
not in
thing,
public.
the other thing that annoys me actually more than that is people, especially for beginners or whatever, where you're trying to get a little bit of practice and whatever. People
Mhm.
who then criticize you because they think they're better than you at an instrument. There was a video that went viral of a guy playing the saxophone, I think it was, or the trumpet, outside of an apartment block. And this little person coming over to them and screaming and saying, I played this, you can't play it. No, just if you don't like it, fuck off.
Mhm.
I do like Oasis. I like certain Oasis songs, but I was more of a Blur head. I like Blur a lot more. I was on
Okay.
that side of the divide.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember that. I suppose you weren't in the UK, but during the 90s, there was a split between people who liked Oasis and people who liked Blur. Uh,
Okay.
I liked Blur.
Okay.
That's not to
I
say I
guess it
didn't like Oasis.
must be a little bit before my time. You got to remember, I'm an old fart.
Before
Music
your
I
time or
remember,
after your time?
or after my time, yeah.
Yeah.
All the music that I remember fondly, have the year 1970 something behind it.
Let me see. Line drifters. Those people who drift in front of you in line while you're
Hmm.
not paying attention and then pretend they were there the whole time.
Yeah. The one that gets me the most, and it's so common here in Vietnam, everybody does it and they don't seem to give a damn. And that's queue jumping.
That's what we're talking about. Yeah.
Hmm.
They kind of just jump into the line and say nothing about it. I've seen, there was, in one store over Christmas, there was a little old woman who, I don't think she realized there was a line, and she just went into the line, and just
Mhm.
went about her business. And, someone behind me, because I was kind of next before this old woman, or there was one person in front of me, and they were like, how dare she? There's a queue for a reason. And I'm sitting there like, if that was your grandmother and she can't stand for longer than 20 minutes, wouldn't you want someone to say, yeah, go ahead of me? Like, don't be such a dick. You're
Yeah.
going to get served. It's okay. There's like 15 people on the
Hmm.
checkouts. You're going to get served, people. What is it in your life that has you so wound up that you can't wait an extra 20 seconds for a woman to buy a purse? Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Exactly.
That annoys me more than a little old woman skipping the queue.
Unbelievable.
Because if it was my gran and someone said that, I would actually probably slap them.
And with good reason.
And the other thing we were talking about before we came on air, one of my biggest pet peeves, people know I get the bus. I get the bus a lot.
Hmm.
And one of the things that annoys me most is those people who sit in disabled bays and old people bays. There's areas on the bus that's designated to elderly, disabled, and mothers or parents with
Yeah.
prams. And people
Yeah.
will sit in them, and that's fine. But then when the bus gets full and an elderly person gets on, they don't move their arses.
Hmm.
Like
That's
that
just rude.
that makes me crazy. That makes me crazy.
Yeah.
Um my own mother has disabilities, and she used to take panic attacks on the bus. So she's driving now, but she used to take panic attacks when the buses were too full because she was packed up against it. And
Hmm.
people just would not let her sit down at all.
That's crazy.
It just annoyed. So she always drilled it into both of us when we were on a bus. If someone gets on who's a little bit older or who can't manage, you get
Uh-huh.
up off your arse and you stand. You have two perfectly good legs. Get up off your butt and allow someone to sit down that actually needs to see. That is one of my biggest pet peeves.
Yeah. Yeah. That would drive me insane. I mean, don't the buses there have like conductors?
No, they got rid of that ages ago.
Oh, okay, all right.
Revdell says the front seats. I was a carer for a wheelchair user. The amount of times we had to demand after asking that people get out of the way so we could get his wheelchair in place. Yeah, that's you know, just no, just no. It's
Mhm.
one of those things that just. Doorknob Head says, about to go to bed. Just thought I'd sneak in and see the stream. Not sure I've been here before. Well, welcome. Good to have you. And we have Brady Photography. How are you doing?
Mhm.
It's good to see you here. Um,
Let's see who else.
the Snark says, that is a matter of feeling important. Your importance is measured by the position in the queue. Someone jumps ahead, so this person declares, I'm more important than you.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
very much the case here in Asia, and it's
yeah.
not just in the stores waiting for the cashier for your turn. They do it everywhere, even driving. I mean, here in Ho Chi Minh City, the majority of vehicles are motorbikes. And when there's a heavy traffic and there's a red light, there's a lot of people queued up. They'll just hop right onto the sidewalk and motor on to the front of the line, drop down off the friggin' sidewalk in front of everybody, even with the front end sticking into the cross traffic, just so they can satisfy that need for me first, me first.
So apparently Jess can't see half the comments I'm reading. Make sure that the comments are set to live chat, not what is it? Top chat, because that's one of the biggest things. These are coming in through StreamYard, so as they come in, we actually get to see them.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I'm just reading back there. People who can't be bothered to say please and thank you, Limey Play says, yes. Manners cost you nothing. Absolutely nothing. I've worked in retail before, and it's just one of those things. It's frustrating.
Yeah, it is.
Right, let's see. People who say no offense, as if what they just said will be. Do you know those people that say something really offensive and then say, well,
Yeah,
no offense, as if that lessens the offense?
yeah, exactly. Yeah. If you have to say no offense, but then you know there is offense to be had.
I mean, there's a difference if you're slagging someone off that's a friend.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for me saying to Irish Demon he's no longer Irish because he lives in Australia for so long, no offense, but you're no longer Irish.
But you know the guy can take it.
Carl Edwards brings up a good one. People who ignore waiters as if we were less than human. What annoys me more than that is when you're in a restaurant and people click at their waiters. Uh, uh, I'll have the check,
Mhm.
please.
Yeah.
Clicking at someone, that's like nails on a chalkboard for me.
Yeah, that's something you do to get the attention of your dog. Yeah. Really, really, really bothers me too.
Hold on for 1 sec. Right, what else? Loud chewing. Does loud chewing annoy you?
Um, no, not so much. Not unless it's the kind of loud chewing where you actually see the food rolling around in their mouth. That bothers me.
Uh, other people staring at their phones. Like, we're okay with us. Like, I'm okay with me looking at my phone. The idea
Mhm.
is I'm okay with me looking at my phone, but don't you dare. Yeah, that doesn't do it for me.
Yeah.
I'm curious as to what can be so. What actually annoys me is when people stare at their screen and they don't like it's a blank screen. They're not
Hmm.
actually looking at anything.
Hmm. Why would they do that?
That would annoy me more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Bacon Earth just said people eating on streams. No, that doesn't bother me. To each their own. Holding the door open for people behind you and them either blanking you or getting offended. Yeah, I really don't get that. If someone is going to be polite, there is like the radical feminists who get upset
Yeah.
because you'll hold the door, a guy will hold the door open, and then it's like they expect something of me. No, they expect you to be polite and say, "Oh well, thank you." You
Well,
know,
yeah.
get a few things.
Yeah. That does bother me.
Yeah, it's not a male female thing. It's kind of built into people with good manners that you open the door for someone.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, jeez. It's not like it takes a whole lot of effort.
Right. Personal grooming in a public place. This includes clipping nails, brushing hair, or applying makeup.
Well, the applying makeup, I don't have a problem with. That's just ladies are like that, and I appreciate the fact that they put the effort into looking good. So that doesn't bother me. Brushing the hair again, if it could be just fixing it up to go into an interview or something, or again, that doesn't bother me. But clipping nails, I hate that. That's something you do on your own.
Oh, and I see John Rapp in the chat. Hello, John Rapp. Everyone give John Rapp the traditional John Rapp welcome, please.
Oh, hello.
We have a John Rapp.
We have a
Um,
job.
I did see someone else there who couldn't stay. Christian Gunillis, if I'm saying that right, I apologize. Oh, I love that. Don't have time to hang around. Sorry, guys, I have a life. That makes one of us. People who take their dogs on school property when signs say no dogs allowed, and also don't pick up their dog doodles. Doodlies. Jess brought that up earlier. Not picking up after your dog.
Yeah. Yeah, that is kind of rude.
So here's the thing. I was a carer for a blind man, and he had a guide dog,
Hmm.
and he got into a discussion at one stage with 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 a person. It wasn't an officer, but it was a person who was like, "Pick up your dog poo," and he was like, "I'm blind. Am I supposed to like wait around on the pavement looking for the poo?"
Yeah, good point.
So yeah, and then the problem with that was he was like, "How do I know it's poo and not pee?" You know,
Yeah.
because it was a female dog.
Well, then it's kind of hard to tell what they're doing, huh? Until they're finished.
Let me see. It's a bit more than a pet peeve, but people using their phones, applying makeup, or doing something inappropriate while driving. Absolutely. If you're going to
Oh,
drive, eyes on the damn road.
I tell you, man, you would go insane here. As I said before, 90% of the traffic is motorbikes. And here it's so common, and people don't even give it a second thought of texting
Oh
while
God,
driving a motorbike.
jeez.
One,
Sudden. Here's another thing. Sudden stops in pedestrian traffic that annoys the crap out of me.
yeah.
I had a cousin. I had a cousin who used to like walk down the street on a crowded street and then just stop, just to see what the reaction would be.
Jeez.
Yeah, that would do my head in.
That, you know,
It would just I can't. And I walk fast. I walk very, very fast.
Mm-hmm.
The next one is close talkers, the ones that get right up in your space in order to have a conversation.
Yeah, that can be annoying.
I'm not even going to do this one because people will go absolutely apeshit, especially right now. But we're going to skip this one, but I am going to mention it. We're not going to talk about it because everyone will go nuts in the chat. But unprotected sneezes, that goes without saying, especially in today's climate.
Yeah.
Here's one. Is I don't think he is, but is Irish Demon still in the chat?
I think I saw him just a little bit ago, actually.
I hope he is, because this goes out to you, you fucker. Overposting. Do you know those people who just can't help themselves but to post about 15 times a day?
Yeah.
Not looking at Irish Demon in particular. What have you to say for yourself, Demon?
Come on, speak up, lad.
The Revdel. People who type sentences like this, where you just put one one word in this. Yeah, that'd annoy me. That would really fucking wreck my head. But although having said that, when Demon posts and he does overpost, at least it's content worthy of being posted. You have people, and I'm guilty of this, who would post pictures of their dog or their cat or the goat. That's why I had a specific farm Facebook just for the goats.
Mm-hmm.
Here's an interesting one. Yeah, Bacon Earth. I'm gonna murder you. Just gonna say, I'm gonna end up murdering you. Yeah, can you time yourself out, Bacon Earth?
Yeah.
I can't remember. Yeah, here's a fun fact. Simon Dan has, or his children have an Instagram just for his tiger cat. He has a Maine Coon. And the Maine Coon, called Zeus, has his own Instagram.
Cool.
That's a thing. And
Instagrams.
There are people who are getting upset with Bob the Science Guy because on one of his channels he has he's glued a camera to the collar of his cat, and he's putting up the streams of when the cat goes out gallivanting. If you haven't seen it, it's on Common Sense Science. Go check it out. I mean, the camera is so shaky, but you get used to it after a while. But people are rage quitting that channel because, because of the cat. And I'm like, why? It's awesome.
It's kind of funny, actually.
Jasper, can you explain what you mean by saying people watching stuff with their fingers?
What?
I don't understand what that means. John Rapp says, cap lock attention seekers get my goat. Yes. This actually sends me into like fury when people can't take their fucking cap locks off. Jessica will understand what I mean. And so as people know that on a few channels I'm moderator. And as a moderator, your job is to make the chat as inclusive and as friendly for everybody. And you're there to do a job. And your job is to have people help people enjoy themselves and get across the information that the channel owner wants you to get across. So links and stuff if you need to post links. When someone comes in and posts all caps just to get attention from the person who's running the stream, it pisses me off because, again, it's like the line cutters saying I'm more important than everybody else in this chat. And then when they disrespect the moderator, as if that's going to get you brownie points, as if it's a good idea. The way I do things, I give people 2, maybe 3 warnings. After that, I don't give a fuck. You're being timed out for disrespecting a mod.
There you go.
And I don't care what anyone thinks. If people don't like it, if the channel owner doesn't like it, you can fucking take my wrench. I do not care. You don't disrespect a mod. And as a channel owner, you don't disrespect your mods, because that's not a good idea. Because what it does is it sends a clear message to the rest of the mods that first of all, they don't know what they're going to be reprimanded for, and second of all, that you don't support them, and that's never a good idea. So
yeah,
Mathpig, fuck off.
I agree.
People are now typing in all caps just to piss me off. Just don't
geez.
do it. Don't do
Stop
it.
doing it.
Here's one, which I'm going to do a series on. After the I'll eventually do a series on, but after the series on the social contracts, I'm doing a series on pushy vegans.
Pushing buttons.
No, pushy vegans.
Pushy vegans.
Nothing annoys me more than a vegan who tries to ram their fucking ideology down your throat and will not listen to what you have to say. I don't mind vegans. I'll say that now. Yeah. I have no issue with vegans, no issue with vegetarians. I think you're misguided. I think you're wrong. But I respect it. Just don't try to ram it down my throat.
Yeah, I agree. I have no problem with veganism either. If that's what you want, then great, go for it. But if you slap my burger out of my hands, you're losing your hand.
Yeah. It's the pushy vegans. It's the lifestylists, the ones that, and what's more is the vegans and vegetarians that are vegan and vegetarians for the simple fact of not exploitation of animals, but cruelty to animals, because what you're doing is you're perpetuating the situation instead of solving the situation. By saying, let's just go vegan, that's not going to help. It's not going to help the animals. It's actually going to make it worse. And it's not going to help the people who do farming correctly.
Yeah.
What it's actually going to do is run us out of business. And who are we going to sell our land to except for the fucking factory farms who are going to treat animals like shit? Sorry, you're not helping the situation. You're making it worse.
Exactly. And then there's that woman, the vegan teacher.
Oh,
she's
gosh.
banned from TikTok over it.
So
good call, Bacon.
There's if you haven't checked it out, people will know Creaky Blinder. Creaky Blinder's son, Lord Callum, has a channel, and he has been combating that vegan teacher. And she's actually responded to him a few times. It's hilarious. So go check out Lord Callum. He's pretty cool. If anyone, Bacon, can you, or anyone with a wrench, can you post Lord Callum's link in the chat? Because I've advertised him before. He's pretty fucking cool. Right.
But if I can just jump in here quickly, folks. Crafty has a busy day ahead of her, so we need to end this after an hour, and we've only got about 15 minutes left. And I think Crafty has a bee in her bonnet regarding Google. Would you like to kind of fill us in what's going on?
Yes. So just to say, there were 60 of these. We got to 20.
Oh, okay.
So we might pick them up the next stream because these are fun. Yes. So the Aussies will know about this. Google have threatened to remove its entire search product from Australia because Australia is threatening to pass a law to make Google, Facebook, and all of those big corporations pay money to news outlets for the use of their content. It annoys me for two reasons. First of all, particularly with Google, Google has a monopoly on the search engine. It's a $6 billion just in Australia alone. It's $6 billion of profit that they're making. They
Wow.
can afford to give the news outlets a little bit of cash for hosting their stuff on their site. Now what Google are saying is, they get more traffic because it's hosted on Google. Not good enough. Not good enough.
No.
If you are going to have a monopoly on a market, at least pay the people whose content you're using. Particularly news outlets at the moment are struggling to survive.
Yeah.
Absolutely struggling to survive. So the least that they could do is to help those news outlets survive by giving them a few bob. It's not. The other thing about it is they've just agreed, because of a court case, they've just agreed a similar thing with France. So why it's okay for France to do it, to bring in these laws, but not okay for Australia, is ridiculous. So what it seems to me, what it seems to me is they're throwing a tantrum because it will impact profits, and thankfully they've come up against the wrong people, because the only people that are more stubborn than the Irish and the Scottish are the Australians.
Yeah.
And so the Aussies are saying they're bringing in the law whether Google likes it or not. And Google are threatening to pull its services. In fairness, if that happens, good. You shouldn't have a monopoly on that kind of service. Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, monopolies, no matter what the industry, are just not a good thing.
NANA, I think, is that on in relation to Google that you agree with me? Because that's a good thing. Or is it the previous thing with the wrench, with the all caps? So yeah, that, and we were talking about this before the stream, where countries capitulate. So Ireland, I don't know if many of you know this, but Ireland had a landmark case where the EU decided, they looked at the back taxes, and EU decided that Apple owes Ireland 13 billion in back taxes that they just didn't pay. And instead of, and Apple said, yeah, fine, okay, we were found to owe this money. We'll give them the money. They put it in a bank account. How did the Irish government respond? Not by saying, oh, thank you very much, we will use that for social housing and health and everything else that we need it for. They took the EU to fucking court in order to prevent Ireland from taking that money. And so far, it has cost the Irish exchequer, what is it, 800 million or 8 million? 8 million that they've given to lawyers and solicitors to prevent Apple from giving us that money. Like, what?
Isn't that crazy, people? That's just insane. It's like Crafty said. I mean, there's so many services in Ireland that desperately need that kind of cash inflow. And to just push it away, that's insane.
Okay. There's an interesting one. Daryl. I'm in Australia. It's not correct. This is a push by the Liberal government to put money in their donors' pockets. Example, Murdoch. They should be making them pay tax in Australia. May I just say, absolutely, they should be paying their proper tax. Corporation tax is something that should be enforced in every country. However, the ability to be a journalist in any secure economy is shrinking. You're not guaranteed a job. Most journalists are living paycheck to paycheck. They're living story to story. They're not guaranteed that that story is going to be run, and that's not just for print media. That's for broadcast media too, because I do have friends in print media particularly. So the idea, hopefully, the idea is for if they're going to be running adverts or news stories from localized local news outlets, because in certain areas that's pretty much all you have, especially in Australia, I would like to think. I know in Ireland we have particular news outlets that's not huge. Like you have the big ones, the national ones like the Independent, the Irish Times and stuff like that, but then you also have like the Cork Independent, which is completely separate to the actual independent news media. You have a range of different, like the Journal. The Journal is an online source. It's not controlled by a large corporation. It's actually controlled by about 20 people, all of whom are journalists for the journal.ie. So I would hope that by bringing in these laws, you're protecting journalism. And we also have to bring back in the idea of what is journalism? And can we have a proper definition on what is journalism? I would hope. I would hope.
I would hope it.
It just annoys me. It really annoys me.
Yeah.
Because you can rail against the likes of the Post, you can rail against the likes of the Wall Street Journal or the Times, but the quality of writing, whether or not you agree with the content, but the quality of writing needed to be a journalist is huge. There's a standard there. And
Yes.
over the last 20, 30 years, because of social media, the standard of journalism has all but disappeared. But that doesn't mean that Google, who can afford to pay these outlets, should be allowed use their content for free. If they have the money.
I mean, somebody had to create that content. You know, somebody went to school to become a journalist. Somebody spent the hours of research and the time writing and editing. They should be paid for that. And Google should pay up if they want to rerun that stuff.
Yes, Daryl M., I agree. Why does our government keep reducing the budget for our national media outlets, the BBC, the ABC? They want to put money in the pockets. Quite possibly. But at the same time, and let me just be very fucking clear, I am not protecting governments. I'm not defending governments. Because, as you can see from the Irish example, they are rotten. And they're rotten from the top down and the bottom up. But at the same time, there has to be some sort of protection for the journalists. And I mean, the Independent and a few others, like the Irish Times, they've moved to a subscription-based thing. And that's fine. But there's a lot of smaller news outlets that's being promoted by Google who don't have the infrastructure to run the subscription shit. They just don't have the infrastructure. So if they get a little bit out of it, then that's a good thing.
Yeah. They should get something.
If it's in terms of the wealthy media, there's other ways of getting that money. And that's part of it is income tax, part of it is wealth taxes, part of it, like there's a huge, it will benefit the minor players. That's the point. Because as I said, they don't have the infrastructure to do the subscription-based thing where people go onto their website, if it was advertised by Google, they go onto their website, and in order to read the article, you have to subscribe and you have to pay. A lot of the smaller media outlets don't have that ability. So, but I love the fact that there's disagreement, and I hope we have more full conversation about this.
Yes, yeah, you're right. They can pull their content from Google Critical Cripple, but what's left to them if they do that? They have other services they can go to, but they won't get the exposure that they will on or are getting now on Google. So I don't know if that's really going to solve anything.
I mean, part of it is because Google has become such a monopoly. Like you have Bing and you have Yahoo, or you did, but even with that, it's everybody uses Google, so they have a monopoly on the market.
Hmm.
And the question is, do you allow them to get more and more and more and more profits, or do you try to reap some of that back and give it to? I would hope. I mean, I'm not a big fan of trickle down economics, but I would hope that some of that money would make it into the pockets of the journalists.
Yeah.
Whoa! Apparently, there's a booze ban in South Africa.
Yeah, I just read that myself.
Yikes.
Is it like full on prohibition or just the hard stuff?
Daryl, I'm really happy you're in the chat because I'm fascinated by this story. The big media players in Australia were required to subsidize smaller outlets. This government stopped it, and the smaller outlets were closed. This is not for the small players. No. Please do rant, because I want the whole story. I do want the whole story.
Yeah.
I mean, again, France brought it in. Yeah, France brought in a similar law, and we would hope that a lot of the we'll see how that one goes, but it's the hope that there's a little bit more security for journalists, that they get a
Yeah.
little bit more for their work. That might not be the case, but let's see how it goes. France will tell us. France will tell us.
Exactly. We'll have to keep an eye on the situation, see how it develops, and revisit this in a future stream.
Yes, definitely. Sorry, my brain is just.
Yeah, no worries. We're actually getting up on 7:30 my time. So do you need to get going, or would you like to go on a little further?
I do. So our backyard is going to be renovated, and I need to help clear out the sheds and stuff, because a lot of my books and everything else is still out in the shed, still in fucking bags out in the shed.
Okay, good
So,
enough. So, well,
yay!
I guess that's it then, folks. We'll have to call it a little bit early today. Crafty has a busy day ahead of her. So, as always, thank you, Crafty, for being here with me today. And thank you all in the chat for coming out. It's been great
Always.
talking to you guys. And we'll see you again next week. So say
before
goodnight,
we go,
Crafty. Go.
what have you got coming up?
I have got the Mega Mirror is going to be relaunching on February 6th. And our first guest for this season will be Prime Red. And then the following week is the relaunch of the Pain of Progress Series 4.
Awesome. And we're gonna roll out with the
Well, like we did last week, we'll roll out with the POP promo.
Yeah.
And then we'll cut the stream. So yeah, I look forward to seeing all of you in the chat at the POP relaunch. And I hope you enjoy the season. It's going to be a tough one, but I think you're going to really like what we've got coming.
So as for myself, I have a new Challenging Conspiracies episode out. As I said, it's going to be on chemtrails. What else have I got? I have so much I don't even know. There is going to be another stream, a gaming stream with my niece and nephew next week, I hope.
Good.
That depends on work. So what else? That's 2. My brain is just flatlining. I'm finishing up the series on the social contracts. And what I'll do is I'll post them every 2 weeks. So I'm trying to get the whole series finished before I actually post anything, just for continuity reasons. And
Awesome.
the other thing is Ion Society will hopefully start taking place at the end of February. I hope.
Excellent. That's going to be a great series, folks. I was in on the original inception of that show, and trust me, you're going to like what's coming.
Yeah, so I'm just getting stuff together for the first two episodes. Yeah, my I love Snark. My brain is just flat earthing. Oh wait. Yeah, that's pretty much my brain right now. I blame cider and port because they had me up until about 2-3 o'clock in the morning.
There you go. That's a fair enough thing.
But with that, I will say goodbye to everybody. And
all right,
stay safe, people. Wear your mask. Be safe.
Awesome. So we'll take you out with the promo for Pain of Progress. Thank you for coming. We'll see you all next week. Bye-bye.